Welcome to Armchair Safari, the live stream, the daily live stream where we learn to be better designers. What happens is I find a random design on the internet, we talk about it, we figure out what's good about it, what is bad about it, and does this work for the user? And today is a sort of a special episode because something happened in the last few days, which is a bit confounding. So, Pentagram, famous design studio from America, released a rebrand of PayPal. Lovely brand, been around for ages. You know, everyone on the internet has used PayPal since back in the days where we all sat on, what was it called? It wasn't Craigslist, it was something else. eBay. Back when we were all on eBay. Anyway, we're going to look at it now. We're going to break it down. But if you want to participate, join in the chat. It's somewhere around me or post in the thread below, and I will try to bring up your thoughts. So we talked about brands a little bit last week, and brands are basically, so I have this theory, and I'm not sure if it's a general theory that I've read somewhere or if I made this up, so bear with me. But I have this theory that human brains are basically wired to think of everything else as a human. So we attribute human-like qualities, we anthropomorphize our pets. We start thinking about like devices in cars. It's like, oh, it's being moody today. And like, oh no, don't be mean to my car. I've actually had friends who told me, don't be mean to my car, and it won't start. And we do this constantly. And I think this is what lies behind brands. Because brands are basically a way to anthropomorphize a company. And a company is just a collection of people trying to do something, but the brand lives on. It can evolve. It can go through many generations of these people, and you can have what feels like a genuine connection, a relationship with a brand, which is why they're so incredibly important. And in the last like 10 years or maybe 20 years, a lot of brands have started, and we're going to zoom in now. A lot of brands have started going flatter. And there's a good reason for this, because flat brands work better in digital. Now, in Burger King's, this example from Burger King, this is not a good example because it was already flat. But if you go down to Pfizer, it starts like looking a little bit, it was already flat as well. That makes sense. With Planters, yes. Planters totally digitized their brand. So this works not just on packaging, but also in digital places. GM was already flat, but now we're starting to see a trend, right? The CIA, I don't know if this is real. If this is real, this is terrible. Peugeot, Renault, now the trend is really freaking obvious. It's not just that we're flattening the logos of the brands, because, okay, so if you have a relationship with the brand, the thing that is the face of the brand is their logo. This is the thing that you think of when you start thinking about the brand. And this starts taking away from the soul of the brand because we're flattening it out completely. But hold on, it gets worse. Sweetgreen, this is just a completely pointless rebrand. And it makes the mistake that we're going to go into here. Discord, I don't know, this is also pretty much pointless. I mean, it's a little bit more friendly. Okay, fine, I get it. Paramount, now we're starting to get it. This is not quite as egregious as what we're going to look at next, but this is also like we're taking the personality out of it. We're taking the soul out of it a little bit. We're trying to make it a little bit more generic, a little bit more bland. Magnum, yeah, same. TransferWise, this is actually a good one. Let's ignore that. This one totally nails it. It's flattening out everything about it that was the actual brand. Personally, I think this is an okay one. This one is terrible. We're just completely trashing the entire heritage of what the brand was. And at least they stuck to a font that wasn't what we're actually looking at. This is what I wanted to get to. This leaves out the entire heritage of the brand. So it becomes almost like you're looking at a new brand. And the reason I wanted to bring you all the way down to this is not just because I'm Swedish and so is Volvo. Campbell Soup, oh my God, BBC, Papa John's, this is a good one too. Yeah, just remove the entire thing that makes you not a text. Because this is sort of what's happening. Every one of these brands are slowly removing the personality and becoming bland. And I think the reason for this, or sort of the agency behind this, is Pentagram. Pentagram has been doing brand identities for a very long time. They're renowned for it. They're considered one of the best brands for doing design in the world. And yet they come up with shit like this. This is the logo evolution of PayPal from 1999 to 2024. And what happens here is basically it establishes, first it gets crazy. Most of these brands do. You should see Apple's original logo. It's absolutely god awful. Then it establishes sort of an identity. It creates something that is it. Happens around 2000, right? And in 2007, they realized, ooh, we can simplify this enormously and also make it a lot easier to actually use. So they do. And in 2024, they actually expand upon that a little bit by just playing around with what they achieved in 2007, creating this wordmark thing. And in 2024, it's just a sans serif font. And the thing is, this is not the first time Pentagram has done this. Pentagram has done several of these rebrands that are just a new sans serif font. It just switches from a wonderful personality-filled logo, I should have brought this up earlier, to just a sans serif font. And that's sort of what's happening here. It's like people have seen in the design circuits, they've seen these very strong brands come out of the web phenomena that's been going on for the last 10 to 15 years. And they see these really strong, really popular brands, things like Airbnb. And they look at that and they go, ooh, yeah, ooh, we should do something similar. We should modernize. We should distinguish ourselves by being modern. And they copy the surface layer of that. It's flattened for digital reasons sometimes. Sometimes it's just because they're trying to be modern. And being modern is bland because a sans serif font is the easiest freaking thing to do online. And I think this is just such a freaking cop-out. It's so sad. So let's go through the normal format of Armchair Safari. If you want to follow along, you can just jump into the chat. Max leans in with word markification. Yeah, that's a good word for it. It's just that you wouldn't have to kill all the personality to create your own word mark. It would actually be better to customize the font or to have a specific font just for that reason. I'm sure Max knows this because he's a great designer. But yeah, okay, so let's get into the format. What is good about this? What is bad about this? And does this work for the user? So what is good about this? Well, good is that it's really freaking easy to reuse, right? Because it's just a sans serif font. So you can use this anywhere with anything. You can put it anywhere, anything on it. It's fine. Everything is bland. Everything is generic. Everything works everywhere. That's the only thing that's good about it, though. What's bad about it is that this is no longer really recognizable. Now the brand carrier is the coloring of this word mark, which means that if you have some sort of color sensitivity or if you're in bright light, remember disabilities are not something that happens to some people, it happens to everyone just at different points in their lives. You won't recognize this. You just see the word PayPal on a wall and you're going to have to read it because you're not going to recognize it. It's not going to be a brand for you. It's going to be just a word. So it kind of fails the basic test of a brand. And I think many of these rebrands that go down this path do that. It goes so far from personality that it becomes just a word, just another thing online. I actually, you know what I should do? I should put together like a word. Remember these things, the word clouds that we had, like were really popular like 10 years ago? We should put together a word cloud of all the sans serif logos and see if you can pick one out. Because I'm pretty sure you couldn't. That could be pretty funny. I should try to do that. That'd be fun. Anyway, okay, so the bad part is that the brand loses the point of the logo quite a lot. Does this work for the end user? No. This does not create a relationship with the end user. It, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, I think this completely fails as a brand. And it's just sad. It's just very sad. And I would love to hear why Pentagram has done this, because it could be for some incredibly important reason that I'm just not aware of. Because they've done this several times before, it might not just be a trend because people are trend sensitive. It could be for some specific reason. Who the hell knows? But they don't say in this article. They haven't said with the other logos. They're just talking about how incredibly hard they worked to pick out a sans serif for their logo again for the 20th time. So anyway, what can we learn from this? Well, when we're creating a logo, maybe add a little bit more personality to it than just picking a sans serif font. Of course, like we have to start somewhere. If you're a small company, if you're a startup, just pick a sans serif font. Who cares? Pick a color, you're done. But if you can, try to do something a little bit more interesting, like we had up here with, who was it? Yeah. Look at that. Coconut Bliss. Weird ass colors, keeping a weird ass font for the logo. Yeah, that's a lot better. Still flat, still modern. It's just a lot more personality inspiring than this is. All right. Well, that was it for today. That's everything we're going to learn from Pentagram today. So if you liked it, if you didn't like it, let me know. Otherwise, I will be back tomorrow. Have a great night. This was Armchair Safari reviewing Pentagram's PayPal redesign.